In the mid-1800s, gravity was an absolute law. Humanity was entirely grounded, and the idea of a person taking to the sky was viewed as a physical impossibility. 7-year-old Orville and 11-year-old Wilbur became fixated on the mechanics of a simple toy made of paper, cork, bamboo, and a twisted rubber band. This diagram shows the basic mechanics of how that toy worked. As the rubber band unwinds, it transfers its tension into the angled paper blades, forcing air down and creating upward lift. Watching this happen planted a very specific seed in the boys' minds. They approached this dream from two distinct angles. Orville started building and selling kites to raise funding, while Wilbur dove deep into biology, studying exactly how birds manipulate air. Wilbur spent hours observing organic wings in motion. He needed to understand the precise mechanics birds use to catch the wind and maintain their balance. The central problem they had to solve was one of scale. They had to figure out how to take the physics of a bamboo toy and generate enough lift to carry a full-grown human. Their first major milestone was building a massive, unpowered glider. It was essentially a giant kite, and initially it could only keep a human in the air for a maximum of 10 seconds. This began a grueling cycle of trial and error. Wilbur would test a design, experience a crash, record the data, make slight aerodynamic adjustments, and then test it again. The iterations paid off. Eventually, Wilbur managed to keep the unpowered glider aloft for 852 feet, staying in the air for exactly 59 seconds. But gliding relies entirely on existing wind. True flight requires equilibrium, the ability to actively balance in the air. This schematic illustrates their solution: wing warping. Cables twisted the biplane wings to adjust air pressure, mimicking a bird's feathers. To complete the system, they added a portable rear rudder for steering and a lightweight engine with propellers to push forward without wind. Breaking the barrier of human flight meant they couldn't just solve one of these issues. They had to achieve lift, establish control, and generate their own power, all at the exact same time. With the first fully powered machine built, dubbed the Flyer, they were ready to test. The decision of who would risk their life to pilot it first was decided by a simple coin toss. Wilbur won the toss. He climbed into the machine, fired up the engine, and attempted to take off, but the flight failed. 3 days later, on December 17, 1903, it was Orville's turn at the controls. Orville managed to keep the Flyer in the air for 12 seconds, covering a total distance of 120 feet. While the distance was shorter than their glider tests, the fact that this heavy, self-propelled machine fought gravity and won made it a turning point in physics. What followed is often glossed over. The brothers retreated back into secrecy for 5 solid years, continuously refining their designs. When a reporter discovered their testing grounds in 1908, they had scaled that 120-foot hop into a 25-mile flight, cruising at 40 miles per hour. The 1903 flight served as a single data point in a relentless, years-long timeline of secret iteration and testing. Once the world saw what they were doing, aviation exploded. Airplanes quickly evolved from fragile, fabric-covered prototypes into robust machines that expanded the limits of human travel. Despite the rapid progress, their own father was terrified of the physical risks. He strictly forbade Orville and Wilbur from ever flying together, knowing that a single mechanical failure could wipe out both his sons. He only made one exception. Orville eventually took his 82-year-old father up into the sky. As they soared over the landscape, the old man looked down at the ground dropping away and urged his son to take the aircraft higher. The country formally recognized the magnitude of their persistence decades later. In 1939, President Franklin Roosevelt officially declared Orville's birthday, August 10th, to be National Aviation Day. The mechanics proven over that 120-foot stretch of sand provided the foundation for a flight path that would eventually leave the atmosphere. 66 years later, another Ohio native, Neil Armstrong, packed a small piece of wood and fabric from the original 1903 Flyer into his spacecraft, carrying it 238,900 miles away to rest on the surface of the moon. Human flight was never achieved through a sudden miracle. It happened because two brothers took the tension of a rubber band inside a child's toy, documented the math, and stubbornly scaled it up until it reached the stars.